Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunah Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tumeva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Vritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Vavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, so we were in this verse, section 5, as I said. So we know that we are doing the koshas, right? We started with Annamaya Kosha, then we went to Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, and then Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is intellectual sheath, they call it. And we were talking about that, and just summarizing a little bit so we have a context, that what should the intellects be made of? And your faith was the main thing. Shraddha was his head. Ritam, righteousness, is right side. Truth, Satyam, left side. Yoga was the trunk. And total intellect, Mahat, means Hiranya Garbha was its tail or Pratishtha. So उसके बाद हमने ये शुरू किया था विज्ञानमय कोश के बारे में. And then we were talking about in this verse section 5, that it is a Vijnanmay Kosh is very important in a human life, because intellect is the one that guides you to do things. So as though the whole intellect is the, the agent, जिसको बोलना चाहिए, big boss in us. उसकी वजह से हम सब कुछ करते हैं. And he's saying even gods worship knowledge as Brahman. And there were several hidden meaning in it. That first of all 5 elements, that's coming from Brahman only. And then we said all these 5 elements, they worship that Brahman. That's one way of looking at it. Another one, within us, what is happening. That these elements are as if in the form of our 5 indriyas. Each indriya is connected to one element. They are representative of that. And in us, that indriyas are the one which bring all the message to the mind, and mind gives it to the intellect. Intellect is the boss. It analyzes everything from the previous data, from knowledge, memory, everything, and then decides the course of action. It's as though these indriyas are worshipping intellect. And then where is the intellect coming from? It is connected to the total intellect. Don't forget that part. It's a very important thing. Because, like Nikhilanandji was saying, if you don't think about it that way, तो बहुत जल्दी ईगो आ जाता है. मैं तो इतनी ग्रेट हूँ, मेरे में तो ये टैलेंट है, I can do this, I can do that. Hey, where is it coming from? It's coming from the total intellect. So when you connect to the total intellect in this way, thinking that it is Brahman, then your ego is down, and then you don't do the papa karma. Because papa karma sab body consciousness ki wajah se hota hai. If the person who thinks I am the body and I have to just please myself and please my body, फिर वो पाप शुरू कर देता है. Desires are so strong. So that's what he's talking about. And then the other thing that they talked about is that जो प्रमाद नहीं करता है. Pramad was a very technical word in Shastras, means intellectual laziness. Like सब चल रहा है जो ठीक है, why should I contemplate? क्या जरूरत है? मेरे को नौकरी है, मेरे को पैसे मिल रहे हैं, मेरा घर चल रहा है, who cares who God is and all that. उसको एक तरह से बोल सकते हैं प्रमाद. Not trying to find out who you are. And so if you stay in that pramad, then you have a more rooted in the body consciousness. So this is what he was saying, that the more you connect to this, cosmic intelligence, samashti vijnanam, that's what Nikhilanandji used the word, macrocosm and microcosm. That we are a microcosm, and we are like a miniature universe in ourselves. But then we are connected. We are not like island by ourselves or something. Egotistic लोगों को ऐसे लगता है ना कि वो मेरे से दुनिया चल रही है, मैं नहीं होऊंगा तो क्या होगा कल. So our teacher used to say that maybe दुनिया better चलेगी. Because even हम लोग को घर में वो मेरा मैं नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, maybe the people will do better. So that's what it is, that connecting with that higher. So, and then he came up with a very good point, Nikhilanand. Sometimes the way they ended this particular mantra was that all the sins वो शरीर में ही रह जाते हैं, means you transcend them. So he was just saying that how did they make that statement? Because he's saying that one point is कि जो sins, जो पाप हम करते हैं ना, वो जितना ज़्यादा body identification होगा उतना prone to पाप होएगा. I'm not thinking of anything else. That's one point. He said, okay, technically also, in a deep sleep, हम कोई पाप नहीं करते हैं deep sleep में. आज तक देखा है कि कोई deep sleep में किसी ने कोई पाप ना, हम सोचते हैं बुरा किसी के बारे में. Deep sleep में ना किसी को मारते काटते हैं, कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं. Right? Why? Because body identification चला गया है वहाँ पे. So he's saying that's another proof that, that paap is all in the lower realm when you are connected more to the body and all that. That was a good point that he said, And then the last part that he said was that इसमें लिखा है कि this verse, the way it ends is that पाप शरीर में ही वो छोड़ देता है, and then he enjoys the bliss of all desires. Right? That's what they said. So how did that happen? We already know the technical part of it, but there's another angle. That one who identifies with that cosmic intelligence, it's a bliss of the Hiranyagarbha. That you take the entire bliss of the Hiranyagarbha also kind of comes to you. Because you're connected. It's like connecting to a powerhouse. That the entire thing is, it's like these days, हम लोग अपने कमरे में बैठ के, we are connected to the whole world. Imagine everybody who has that kind of information power we have right now. और आजकल तो टाइप भी नहीं करना पड़ता है. Hey Siri, hey Google, The other day our grandson came and said, hey Google, what's the time? I said, इसको टाइम की क्या जरूरत पड़ गई? उसको कुछ समझ नहीं आता, उसने सुना होगा अपने फादर को मदर को बोलते हुए. I said, my God, this generation तो टाइप भी करना भूल जाएगा अभी. पर हम लोग बोलते हैं लिखना भूल गए. Somebody was telling me, like in our Chinmaya mission, they are supposed to write some essay or something. This auntie, my hand is hurting. वो लोग 4 लाइन नहीं लिख सकते आजकल, और हैंडराइटिंग भी इतनी खराब. I said, I can't read. They don't have habit of writing. उनको एलिमेंट्री स्कूल में वो कंप्यूटर पकड़ा दिया जाता है. पर अभी और भी आने वाला है दूसरा. वो लोग उनको ये फिंगर भी उनकी वो हो जाएगी, डेलिकेट हो जाने वाली है. दे आर नॉट गोना टाइप, दे आर गोना से. फिर उसके बाद नेक्स्ट शायद आएगा, सोचने से कुछ हो जाएगा. आई डोंट नो. जैसे वो बोलते थे ना कि वो विमान जो है ना मन की गति से चलता है. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ दिस स्टेटमेंट इन रामायण? दैट जिस विमान पे रामचंद्र जी आए ना लंका से, उसको सम पीपल से कि वो मन की गति से चलता था. मीन्स कि उसकी स्पीड कम और ज़्यादा अपनी इच्छा से होती थी. हम लोगों को ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? क्या पता कोई चिप विप डाल दो brain में, which will be connected. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, so basically what we're trying to say over here is that if you connect to the higher, you get all the benefits of that higher. That's the whole idea. So the bliss also is part of that only. So he's saying, just in a simple words, you can say, what is the fruit of, doing the Vigyan Upasana? Vigyan, intellect Upasana, is you get this. All your desires are fulfilled in a way, or जो तुमको desire से मिलता है उससे भी ऊंची bliss मिल जाएगी. तो why will you run after other small thing? If you get $1 billion, you're not going to worry about $5, right? So that's what it is. You will get the highest stuff. Yes. Any question about this before we go in reading? Any comment? Okay, who wants to read? Any volunteers? So Meena ji, I'm going to ask you then.
Knowledge performs the sacrifices, and it is the real agent of all the physical activities. All the gods worship knowledge as Brahman, the eldest. If a man knows knowledge as Brahman, and if he does not swerve from it, he attains all desires and comes to abandon all the sins in the body.
So we know that why he said it's the eldest, because that came first. It's so simple, right? Hiranyagarbha came first and then all the other things came. Yeah.
Okay. All ritualism have deep significance and suggestiveness. One who does not know the exact implication will only be following the routine process of chanting and doing the prescribed action without benefiting himself and feeling any sense of inspiration. The Upanishad is very insistent, and the Vedas, with equal emphasis, wrote that without a correct knowledge of not only the rules of the karma, but also the full significance of it, ritualism has no effect at all. Therefore, the rishis here say that it is the intellectual faculty that is the true performer of all rituals.
So we have discussed that even in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Before that, hey, if you are doing some ritualism, you don't even know why you are doing it, it is pretty useless. So understanding comes from intelligence, So I think that, अपने शास्त्र में क्वेश्चन पूछना बहुत importance दिया गया है. Hey, if you don't know something, ask a wise person. They'll be very happy to tell you what it is. But I think that हमारी प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि जो हमारे पेरेंट्स ने, नथिंग अगेंस्ट देम, बट वो लोग भी, उनको भी नहीं मालूम था रिचुअल जो हमको सिखाया क्यों करते हैं, बस करते हैं. चलो एटलीस्ट ट्रेडिशन तो अलाइव रखा. बट नाउ आई थिंक द न्यू जनरेशन इज आस्किंग लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, व्हिच इज गुड. देयर इज नो हार्म. एंड आई एक्चुअली एंजॉय व्हेन द यंग पीपल, वो लोग कुछ बोलते हैं ऐसा क्यों वैसा क्यों, बिकॉज अपने शास्त्रों में इतना अच्छा साइंटिफिक एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया हुआ है, और वो लोग को कन्विंस करना कोई मुश्किल बात नहीं है, because all science is there. But we should know first, then we can. And how we also go to the wise people, read the Shastras, that whatever we are doing now, you keep doing that, and you are doing this.
Similarly, the mantra insists that the intellect is the true agent who does all actions in our transactions in life. As soon as an external stimulus is conveyed by the sense organ to the mind informs the intellect of the impulses received, and it is the determining faculty in us that issues our definite instructions as to what is to be done and how best we can make use of the external experience so gained. In short, when we analyze the theories of perceptions and the working of the experiences as expounded by the various schools of philosophy in India and elsewhere, we find in almost all cases that the intellect is considered as the true agent in all our intelligent transactions with the world outside.
So they are just telling you a scientific fact, और जितने भी इंडिया में philosophy है, all of them accept this whole process. अगर कोई, Vedic explanation मांगेगा कि what is mind, they have a very good, that they divided into 4, right? Mana, buddhi, chit, ahankar. So, so mana, buddhi and chit, it goes into like ascending order. And then also we know that here, when we are doing the koshas, when they said that Annamaya kosha, next one is Pranamaya and Manomaya, so the higher koshas are the boss, So Vigyan is the boss for the man. Man is the lower mind. So if you make man the boss, you are in trouble. Because then that means you're just going by emotions and you're just reacting to the situation. But if your intellect is a boss, it's going to think. Then think before you speak. A lot of us don't do that. But, इसीलिए बोलते हैं कि make the mind your boss. Even modern science बोला कि all of them accept that. That faculty is a much higher in us. That's what they're trying to say.
Maji, Sarpriyananda made one comment that mind is a very good servant and very bad boss.
अच्छा.
कि अगर माइंड को बॉस बना दिया तो वो तुम्हारा सत्यानाश कर देगा.
You talk about the lower, yes, absolutely. And then we know that in chapter 6, Krishna Bhagwan made a very powerful statement. Your mind can be your enemy or mind can be your friend. So the way our teacher used to explain, a disciplined mind is your friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, undisciplined mind, और वो क्या क्या हैवक नहीं करवाएगा, क्रिमिनल बना देगा तुम्हें. और अगर तुम्हारा माइंड डिसिप्लिन है और तुम उसको प्रॉपरली चैनल पे ले जाओ तो तुमको मोक्ष तक पहुंचा देगा वो. So mind is this kind of thing, true.
So this means if you are in control and
Yes.
not the mind, then you are in a.
And then he told how to be in control. He said, start with, don't come under the sway of your likes and dislikes. Simplest thing he said. Because it's like, constantly keep going. And Chinmayanand ji used to say even some more powerful statement, saying that when you go in the sway of your likes and dislikes, you have automatically rejected half of the world. मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए ना. हमारे घर में we had a joint family and वो भिंडी नहीं खानी. कोई किसी को ये नहीं खाना किसी को. And when I was like about 9-10 years old, I said, why are these people doing that? I'm going to eat everything. वो कुछ ऐसा determination है, I eat all the sabjis. I never say कि मुझे ये चाहिए वो नहीं खाना. Somehow in my childhood I made this promise to myself that and then when you start eating all the different, you enjoy it actually, because each one has its own flavor. But people in their mind they make it, मुझे ये नहीं अच्छा लगता है वो अच्छा लगता है. Strange. Anyway.
So the mind is the intellect that's telling you. So that's what it is.
Say that
Okay,
again.
it's not I said it's the intellect that's telling you. Mind is only going to do what the intellect says. So
Okay.
your intellect is that strong that means the mind is a servant at that point, what Anilji pointed out. And your intellect is telling you, do this. And mind is obeying that and doing that. Is that correct?
Well, what is the intellect firstly? Intellect is a thinking facility. It's a higher facility which will analyze and then give you the result, right? Yes. But suppose lower mind is I want to do this, I don't want to do. ऐसा नहीं है. Lower mind बोलता है I want to do this because I like this. Correct? So if at that stage the intellect is weak. So the mind will say I want to eat.
From the intellect, whether it's weak or strong, the order is.
I mean, the way you can look at it this way, कि वो lower person is taking the decision. It's like you have a clerk and you have a boss. वो boss क्यों बना भाई? Boss इसलिए बना उसको अक्ल ज़्यादा है.
Right,
because he's more qualified. That's why उसको position मिली है. In the corporate world also, right? So now the clerk goes to the boss and says, hey, these are the things. Now tell me what to do. If he listens to the boss, maybe it will be a better result. But the clerk बोला आज तो मैं ही boss बन जाता हूँ. Why do I need to go over there? Let me make the decision. तो उसका decision इतना अच्छा नहीं होगा. You know? So that's what they're trying to tell you.
Again, intelligence is considered as Brahman or the eternal essence by all the gods. To understand the word Deva as the celestial being or angels, etc., would be to confuse ourselves with ridiculous understandings. The word Deva comes from a root which means illuminations. Deva means illuminator. The Devas in us are the 5 sense organs and the mind. They consider intellect as the true factor behind them. Without an active intelligence, the Indriyas are incapable of receiving their impulses and acting readily to meet the challenge in the outer world.
So here again he's telling you a scientific fact. Firstly, he's telling that what the word, when we say devatas, we immediately think of some, क्या बोलते हैं, all the Vayu Devata, Ye Devata, and we think of all those Puranic stories, which is okay. But where it's coming from, the word, बोलते हैं ना, ये चीज दिव्य है, illuminated, luminescent. And, and then these हमारी जो इंद्रियां हैं, that illumines the world for us. It makes us, understand everything. But indriyas are nothing behind mind and intellect behind them. It's like, horses are there, but when it is called a carriage, when they are all tied up together. Otherwise, you cannot reach your destination, So that's what it is, that the true boss is the intellect over here. Or we should make the boss the intellect. Let's put it this way. That's an even better statement.
He who lives in the consciousness that every perception of sense organs is an expression of a deliberate grace of the intellect, he comes to develop his intellect more and more. Naturally, he cannot make any new mistakes, and he comes to live much more happily, fulfilling all his ambitions and desires. A fully awareful existence, at once intelligent and conscious, is sure to take us from success to success, and to such a vigilant individual, there cannot be any sense of frustration in his desires.
So here he has taken a very scientific approach, even though, in this verse it said that your intellect, it does the devatas, worship that Hiranyagarbha and all that is also correct. And here it's a simple thing. The scientific fact, Swamiji has mentioned that if your higher intellect, if you're consciously living your life, you're going to be making good decisions and you're not going to be frustrated. Because half of our frustration is, मैंने ऐसा किया होता तो वो हो जाता. अरे वो टाइम पे क्यों नहीं किया फिर? But basically, you weigh your options and you make the best decision that's possible. Then you won't have any regrets, At least you can say, I did my best at that time. So whichever way you want to look at it,
I look at it, you find out, if it's a mistake, it's not done right, at least you know it.
That's a very good approach too. Absolutely. Because, it's like, अभी मेरे को आज तक कोई ऐसा इंसान नहीं मिला होगा जो बोलागा मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में कोई गलती नहीं की.
Right.
हाँ? या तो वो झूठ बोल रहा है या फिर वो कोई भगवान ही होगा.
The sorrows of life are all due to misunderstanding ourselves to be nothing but the fleshy body. This body consciousness circumscribes our capacity and burns with terrific responsibilities and false duties. These are the sins of the body mentioned here. One who lives in the intellectual zone as a masterly intelligent being will thereby be getting himself redeemed from his body preoccupation, and to that extent he will be feeling free and liberated.
So he just gave another scientific explanation of the fact that he said the person who connects to the higher, he leaves his all the sins within, just abundance in the body only, and basically transcends it, or you can say whichever way you want to say it. But here he's just saying that jitna jada materialism के पीछे हम भागेंगे उतना ज़्यादा we will be doing sins. That's a very simple thing. Body consciousness, when you don't think of higher. When you say spiritual life or I am spiritual, what does it exactly mean? Even if you decipher the word meaning, I believe in the spirit is spiritual. It's as simple as that. I don't think I'm the body. True, उसका यही definition हो गया ना. When I say I am spiritual, it doesn't mean that I go to mandir 10 times a day and I do puja and ritual. That's not true. I think I'm not the body. That is a true spiritual person. So that's what he's trying to say. That have a higher thinking, then all the sins will you will transcend them. Actually, Krishna Bhagwan said that usko paap punya dono usko nahi lagta hai. He rises above it. So whatever he does, because हमारी दृष्टि में शायद वो पाप वाप दिखे, मगर उसको नहीं लगता है कुछ भी, because he is like transcended that already. So you can look at it that way too. Gunatit, the word that he used in Bhagavad Gita.
So what it means is that we are leaving all our vasanas and we are attaining mokshas.
Yeah, that they call it Jivan Mukti. The person who has reached that highest state, the one, then they are like not affected by. And like, how do we explain that in the worldly sense? So, like somebody was asking, this is a good question, huh? Because we used to try to analyze that with our teacher also. That Krishna Bhagavan declared that what is moksha is every janam that we take, we have a chance to get moksha, right? But we have a lot of sanchit karma. संचित में हमारे इतने सारे लाइफ्स हैं, उनके सबके पैकेजेस हैं, उसमें से एक पैकेज फ्रूटिफाई हुआ है और वो हमारा प्रारब्ध कहलाता है. तो हाँ, वी आर डूइंग दिस, राइट. सो अगर हमको मोक्ष मिल गया, जीवन मुक्त हो गए, तो वो हमारे पैकेजेस का क्या होगा, राइट. सो इट इज समथिंग लाइक दिस, दैट आई हैव अ एड्रेस, so the mailman can come and drop the letters and packages and all that, right. कल को मेरा घर ही नहीं हो, वो एड्रेस ही नहीं है, तो वो कहाँ मेल करेगा अपने को. See what I'm saying? So when your ego is completely gone, you are as though merged with that Brahman. You don't have your own address. You are working from that perspective. It's kind of a little bit hard to understand, but that's why you feel. Or the other way of looking at it is, nothing affects this person. It's like, I am eating rasgulla in my dream, and I've been given thappad in my dream. So it's like I'm vacillating. But once I know it's a dream, hey, whether somebody give me rasgulla or it gives me a thappad, what difference it makes to me? It's just a dream. That's not my real self anyway. So you can look at it this way too, that I'm not getting affected even if I get something good or bad. It's like I'm not getting swayed by it.
Umaji, you can also call it making a conscious decision.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
Then you don't worry about the result at all.
True. From the worldly perspective, that's true. That, like I said, that if I feel like I did my best at that point,
right,
then I'm not going to have a regret. Because भगवान ने ये भी डिक्लेयर कर दिया ना कि रिजल्ट तुम्हारे हाथ में है ही नहीं, वो तुम्हारा डिपार्टमेंट ही नहीं है. So how can I expect a fixed result anyway? Think about it. Because I don't know the bigger picture. I don't know that when I did an action, I'm thinking that if I do action A, I should get the result B. According to my small intellect, I'm thinking that way. But there are hundreds of factors involved in doing my action A. And what the result is coming, my previous life, how many people are affected, this, that. It's the higher self it's going to give me result. So that's why I have to surrender. कोई बोलते ना कि ओ मैंने इतनी मेहनत की, मेरे को क्या मिला, मेरा तो बिजनेस ही फेल हो गया, ये all kinds of things people say, or like you hear this person was a perfect eating habits, was perfect exercise, then also to come down with cancer and this and that and all that, no fault of theirs, because we don't know in the bigger picture what has happened. What is the purpose of that person getting that disease? We don't know. So in the end, you can only, I love that verse 47 of chapter 2, Karmanyavadhikaraste. Your adhikar is on action. Your adhikar is not on the result. And that doesn't mean, he said, that doesn't mean that don't do anything and just become a couch potato. Because koi bolega, oh, if it is not, main kuch karu hi na. That option is not there. He said that you have to do acting, but with the full surrender. So this person who is at that state, he will do action when he thinks it is right. He doesn't care if the result is not. It's like Jesus. बेचारे को सूली पे चढ़ा दिया उन्होंने, क्या नहीं किया उसके साथ. But he didn't phase. He did not move away from his values. So those are like extreme example, even in the human form when they come. And even Krishna Bhagwan ने भी दृष्टांत दिया, उन्होंने प्रतिज्ञा ली थी कि भाई मैं शस्त्र नहीं उठाऊंगा, right? फिर जब अर्जुन को वापस गीता सुनने के बाद भी मोह हुआ, he was not killing भीष्म पितामह. उनको क्रोध आ गया कृष्ण भगवान को. उन्होंने वो एक पहिया उठाया और बोला मैं मारता हूँ, तू नहीं मारेगा. तो फिर वो एकदम बोला नो नो नो, आपने प्रतिज्ञा ली थी, सब लोग आप लोग को बुरा भरा कहेंगे, तो इसे आई डोंट केयर, बोला तू नहीं करेगा तो मैं करूँगा, दैट्स इट. फिर उसने अर्जुन ने बोला नो नो, आई विल डू माई जॉब, आई विल डू माई ड्यूटी. सो कृष्ण भगवान डिडंट केयर एट दैट टाइम कि मेरी प्रतिज्ञा, ऐसे तो प्रतिज्ञा मैं तोड़ने को बहुत तैयार हूँ जन कल्याण के लिए. यू नो, सो दैट्स
हमारी जो कॉन्शियस डिसीजन होता है, one is not to worry about papam or punyam at that time. Is that right?
Yeah, see, the problem is this. If we are not at that higher level and we say, oh, I'm not going to worry about pap and punyam, then it can be a big problem also. Is it? Oh, everything is God, and you know. So all those things at the early stages are important to know pap and punya. We are talking about the very, very high state. That when we talk about Jivan Mukti people, you know. But intellectually to understand that is pap and punya and all, that is fine, that it is two sides of the same coin. Like
It's
one,
part of the conscious decision, isn't it?
that which way to go, yes,
Yeah.
it is. And then pap and punya is also very subjective. For one person, the same action can become a pap, and another one it is punya. It's like a soldier fighting on the war. In fact, it's a very interesting point that Krishna Bhagwan said somewhere in Mahabharata. I'm not sure exactly what context, that ये जो क्या बोलते हैं, बैटल ग्राउंड है ना, कुरुक्षेत्र, जहाँ पर महाभारत का युद्ध लड़ा गया, राइट? उसमें जो भी सोल्जर मरेगा उसको सदगति प्राप्त होगी. यू नो व्हाई? इवन इफ इट इज फ्रॉम कौरव साइड, बिकॉज ही इज फाइटिंग फॉर, मतलब ही इज डूइंग हिज ड्यूटी,
Yes.
राइट? सो सभी को मिलेगी सदगति, यू नो. सो दैट्स व्हाट इट वाज, बिकॉज अ सोल्जर व्हेन ही डाइज इन अ वॉर, he gets that sadgati, no matter whose side he is on.
Actually, that was a big question in my mind, that कृष्ण जी ने अपनी सेना कौरवों को दे दी.
तो इसका मतलब वो क्या सब हेल में गए? नो.
No, they all went to moksha.
Right. So that's a little bit a contemplative subject, that why, you know, because what is the definition of your duty? Because they are at that lower stage, right? So whatever the boss says, they have to do. But those other people who are at a different stage, they have the capacity to make the decisions and change sides and things like that, you know. So I think that when it comes to pap and punya, or, you know, what is good, what is bad, it's a very individualized thing in our shastras. And even from the worldly perspective, you know, if you say ki, you know, some doctor is doing a surgery, on the surface is he doing a violence only, no, cutting somebody's body or something. It's totally for a noble cause, trying to save his life. And the other guy taking a knife and killing somebody for some greed. It's a pap. So the motive behind the action, the personal motive, is the most important thing. You know, superficially, we cannot take action and say it's good or bad. Why he's doing it, we have to see that. So it kind of gets a little complicated.
A person, a soldier, who is doing his duty in the war, at the same time he's feeling bad. He doesn't want to kill. Okay, so that mentally he's, I guess, not prepared for what he's there, what his duty demands.
You mean he doesn't want to kill somebody, so but then he shouldn't be a soldier to begin with. He trained his whole life to do that, you know. It's like
going there, you are ready, but when it's just like, I guess, maybe Arjun, who, you know.
No, but Arjun was not scared of killing. That's a very good point that you brought. He did not want to selectively kill few people.
It's like, yeah, but a soldier would be, it's not selectively. He is just, you know, killing at that point. I'm just trying to imagine. Okay, it's not that.
I know, but what you're trying to say, killing at to, हम लोग को ये बताया ना, किसी को मारो मत, काटो मत. लेकिन, like I was saying, that when it comes to hinsa and ahinsa, वो भी a higher level से देखना पड़ता है. because it's like, okay, you have a tumor in the body, and the surgeon is trying to do the surgery to cut so that you get saved. Right? Same way,
Yes,
the
yes.
society has become so bad that these people, imagine the kind of atrocities they were doing. This Duryodhan and his group, they had to be eliminated because they would have poisoned the whole generations. They would have poisoned it. और उन्होंने उनका grip इतना ज़्यादा हो गया था कि people like Bhishma Pitama and the Guru Dronacharya were not able to speak. Right? So that society had become, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, नपुंसक बन गए थे सब. They could not, in spite of knowing what is dharma and adharma, they were getting pulled on the adharma side.
Yeah, Bhishma,
Yeah, so they were getting pulled. So then Krishna Bhagavan had to come and fix it. So that's what it is. And then when you're talking about soldier, whole life Arjun was trained. He couldn't wait to go to war. It's like, okay, you study engineering and now you're saying now you build this bridge. You'll be so excited, you know. But उसको क्यों उसने महाभारत वॉर में उसको रोना धोना शुरू कर दिया, उसने वो मोह में आ गया कि भाई इस सेना में मेरे दो, even though they are standing on the bad side.
Yeah.
You know, of course he loved them and उसको दुख भी होएगा, लेकिन वो दुख उसको सहना पड़ेगा. Or I used to give the worldly example, like, you know, how to teach the kids like this. Suppose now this president is there, Biden, okay? उसका एक cousin जो है ना terrorist बन जाता है. Suppose, hypothetical, हाँ? और अभी जब उसको punishment का time आया, तो बाइडन बोलेगा इसको मैं माफ कर देता हूँ. सारी जनता क्या बोलेगी? They will उसको तो impeach कर देंगे कि तू, you are doing favorism. That's what was Arjuna's condition. That he was not fighting a war for his personal gain. He was doing it because he was a soldier in a society. And the society, all बड़े बूढ़ों ने ये decision लिया कि we have to fight this war. So he has to do this war. He's not going to say, oh, Duryodhan is my cousin, वो नालायक है तो भी है तो मेरा cousin ही, how will I kill him, you know? Or Bhishma Pitama is on his side. Hey, too bad if he's on a bad side, you got to eliminate him too. That's what the whole thing is. He was not doing for personal thing. And that's what he started. He started thinking personally.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, where were we? Now I lost track.
We just finished.
Okay, so we finished this one. Okay, so
Yes,
we can what is the time? 10 minutes? All right. We can I can go over the next one if you want, or we can stop. Or any other question is there? What do you guys want to do? So the next one is going to be, I'm trying to think which one it is. Oh yeah, so maybe I can just talk a little bit about that Anandamaya Kosha, you know. So Anandamaya Kosha is the last sheath. And उसके बाद तो सीधा pure self है. So it is basically the way, you know, Nikhilanand explained it very nicely. He said that suppose you have a lamp and which is in a translucent pot, and then वो pot के अंदर पर से 5 है. Suppose, just an idea, huh? So लैम्प बीच में सबसे सेंटर में है, उसके बाद एक छोटा पॉट है वो ट्रांसलूसेंट है, फिर दूसरा है बड़ा, उससे बड़ा, सभी ट्रांसलूसेंट है. तो जो उसकी जो प्रकाश होएगा ना वो लास्ट वाले में सबसे कम होगा, लेकिन होगा. लेकिन जैसे जैसे अंदर जाते जाओगे ना वैसे वैसे वो लूमिनस होता जाएगा. करेक्ट? सो द सेम वे दिस आनंदमय कोशा इज द क्लोजेस्ट टू दैट ब्रह्मन. That's why that Anand is bliss is there in it, you know. And what we experience from that, whatever bliss we experience in the world is coming from that Anandamaya Kosha only. And they have divided into 3 different categories. Because, hey, when this is how it is. Maybe I can talk about it 5 minutes and then everybody can contemplate at their home and then we can come back, revisit it next time. So they divided this Anand into 3 different things. They called it Priya, Mod and Pramod. And one is Anand. And ये सभी ने ये वर्ड सुने होंगे कि कोई चीज़ प्रिय लगती है, मतलब मुझे अच्छी लगती है, तो इसका मतलब मैं उसके बारे में सोचती हूँ तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. You know, and simple example है कोई food item. I think Joe is there today. He loves mithai, right? So he's thinking of rasgulla. Just thinking gives him joy. So that is one type of आनंद. उससे ज़्यादा आनंद क्या होएगा? If one of us bring a rasgulle का डब्बा and give it to him. So that will be mod. So वो रसगुल्ला उसके बगल में बैठा हुआ है. So then Joe will say, वाह वाह, उसका आनंद थोड़ा बढ़ जाएगा. You know, that will be mod. And pramod means विशेष आनंद. Everybody guess कब आएगा उसको विशेष आनंद. जब नीना पास में नहीं होएगी और वो डालेगा रसगुल्ला मुंह में, प्रमोद. Means he's experiencing that. So one is thinking about it, one is having it next to you, and one is actually experiencing it. So that's pramod. So those are the three levels of happiness that we experience. But everything is coming borrowed from this Anandamaya Kosha only, you know. And then the total thing is called Anand. But there is something, English में बोलते हैं ना, there are different words are there. There is happiness, joy, bliss. फिर एक बोलते हैं ecstasy. You know, highest Anand. So that is probably, you can say, Atma ka is ecstasy. So something like that. Very interesting thing is going to come next week. Anyway, so we'll do that next time. Any question, comment, anything else for whatever we did?
अभी आपने जो का एग्जाम्पल दिया कि जब उसने खाया तो वो पूरा आनंद है, तो अगर उस वक्त नींद आ जाए तो क्या होगा?
वो आनंद है ना, दुख में बदल जाएगा, बिकॉज नीना उसका मोद प्रमोद और तीनों ले लेगी.
क्योंकि आधा वो दे जाएगी.
हाँ,
तो जो क्लोज देगी,
आधा वापस थोड़ा फिर भी देगी. ओके, दैट्स नॉट बैड.
लेकिन उसका सबसे अच्छा तरीका ये है, क्लोज द डोर.
But one thing is there that I was listening to this director of music in MIT in one of the lectures, and he studied under Ali Akbar Khan for 18 years. And what he said was that any music you hear, if it touches all your koshas, that is immortal music.
I mean,
So same applies to everything. So these koshas are very important, and that's how you distinguish between a classical and like a regular music.
Interesting, yes.
So
Yeah.
they last forever, and that was his philosophy.
So अभी काफी कुछ
Even the art, same touches in the koshas, then you know that's there.
it can give you so much joy and can make your mind peaceful. But then they are going to take you a step further. This Upanishads, उनका गोल है कि तुमको सीधा ब्रह्म तक पहुंचाना. तो वो आनंद में कुछ में नहीं रुकने वाले हैं. They're going to, and we have studied the whole science, but it's going to be repeated. Hey, but why do we feel happy? Because temporarily your mind is calm. There is no other reason. So you're creating that condition by getting all these things that we love.
Also what you get, Anand, keep changing.
Because of the conditioning. But if somebody connects to that bliss directly, he already got the highest. फिर उसको रसगुल्ला मिले नहीं मिले कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा उसको.
Right.
You know, he's in bliss, and that's why that whole drishtant is there of Buddha Bhagwan. That Buddha Bhagwan was sitting, and this man who came started giving him bad words, galis वगैरह देना शुरू किया. उसने Buddha Bhagwan didn't get phased, and when his disciples asked him, hey, why are you not getting upset? हमको तो लग रहा है कि उसको दो झापड़ मार के भगा दूं यहाँ से. Why you keep listening to him? So he said that अगर तुम्हारा पेट यहाँ तक भरा हुआ हो तो कोई एक बहुत अच्छी थाली सजा के ब्यूटीफुल खाना लेके आएगा, तुम खाओगे? तो बोले नहीं, मेरा तो पेट भरा हुआ है. कोई तो एकदम गंदा खाना लेके आएगा, तुम खाओगे? नहीं, मेरा तो पेट भरा हुआ है. तुम दोनों ही नहीं लोगे. सो चाहे तुम मेरे को प्रशंसा करो, चाहे तुम मेरे को गाली दो, मेरा तो पेट भरा हुआ है भगवान से. That's the explanation. We don't think about it that way.
Also, the bliss is infinite.
Exactly.
It depends on your body's capacity to absorb it.
Yes, but
So every time you have different experience because your body changes. So sometimes you have the one experience and then later on you say, oh, this is higher than the one I had before.
that's why they called it, Priya, Pro, Mod and Pramod. उसको broad category में divide किया है, but उसमें within permutation combination हजारों हैं. हाँ, किसी को क्या चीज से खुशी मिलती है, किसी को क्या चीज से खुशी मिलती है. But what the Shastras are trying to tell you, all of them are conditioned ones.
Right.
So if you go गुणातीत बन जाओ तो तुम उस bliss में पहुंचोगे तो तुमको ये सब छोटी मोटी चीजों से फर्क ही नहीं पड़ेगा. But that's why even he was explaining that the reason they call it Anandmaya Kosh, Maya word जो है ना conditioning की वजह से है.
And that bliss you cannot explain, you can only feel it.
The highest one that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, of
Right.
course. Yes. And then that's why they call it Sat Chit Anand, because Anand is its nature.
Right.
मतलब ये समझो ना कि what is the source of water? It's in the universe. It's H2O.
Yeah.
Whether you are on Mars or you are here, water is called water only. Somebody gets connected to the infinite source of, water. He's not going to worry about even ocean or anything, talab. He can get the source at his will, whenever he wants it. Imagine, like somebody was saying कि हम लोग जो है ना फ्रिज है हमारा, right? So हम लोग छोटा सा एक है, उसको इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दो, ये करो वो करो. तुम हिमालय की चोटी पे पहुंच जाओ, बर्फ ही बर्फ है वहां पर. फ्रिज इज अनलिमिटेड देयर. You don't need to worry about food getting spoiled over there. So that's what it is, that we are just holding on to these little things, and what their Shastras are telling you, hey, why don't you just connect to the source? You're not going to run after little things and wait for the desire to get fulfilled to feel happy. That's what they're done. It's hard for us, because we still living in those koshas and, but at least we are
Not
learning
hard.
about it.
It's not hard, but it's gradual. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to really move ahead. And as you move ahead, you see more and more and more.
Yeah,
And
true.
that's what makes you go up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like that insect who had in front of him the honey, and so he keep climbing up the rope because he kept saying, I'm getting there. So it's
Right.
infinite.
True.
But once you get there, then you cannot explain. So it's like you are gone.
Then I think those people who are in that state, when they look at other people, say, इसको भी मिल जाए तो कितना अच्छा होगा. So they try to help everybody else.
I know, but they never explain you.
Because it's like unexplainable, like you say. You yourself said
It's
it.
not. Because Ramakrishna used to, if you read that book, he used to ask, how was I? Because when he was in that mode, he didn't know what it was.
That's so interesting,
He
yeah.
has to ask somebody, to explain him how was I.
I think the time kind of stops there, because even the Sadhguru, when he talks about his experience, when he had that experience of oneness or whatever, he said he didn't even know. He thought only 1 or 2 hours had passed, and it was a long time had passed.
Yeah.
And it was true. We can only kind of think about that state and feel happy about it, because we don't know what it is. Anyway, any other point anybody has? Okay, so I can close and we'll meet next time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhaved. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. We'll see you next time.